It's this old guy in the garage with a pit where we're making, breaking, cussing, or fixing. And what you're looking at is my 98 Jeep that I've had now for a couple of years. I've reconstructed it. It was hit right in here. Wasn't anything super bad, but we were able to fix it. What we've got here is the typical dash problem. Off of it, but if you look down in there, you'll see a blue wire to your right, and then if you look all the way over here to the left, and what we've got here to the left is there's two wires there, and this is the fix for these dashes. This wire, I covered this wire with a shrink coat, but those two wires are twisted together, and they weren't. And this is one of the Jeeps that they put a new plug in. And that plug is, well, what you see right here. And this one you can see. But I'll tell you the wire colors in just a minute. But I used to always think it was this brown wire. And I've had the dash off of this Jeep for quite a long time. And I used to hit this wire, twist it, and the dash would come back on. But as I said, this is the typical, this had the bad plug, and the dealer replaced the plug, this plug right here. And they restarted all these wires. And when they did, the dealer did not twist these two wires together, the black and the white wire and the purple and the white wire. And I'll show you where I got the fix from. But you can see I've had the dash out of this Jeep for a couple of years now. And it's finally going to be able to put it back. But after I made this fix, which was just about 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, this dash has never quit. It's worked ever since. So that's the fix for the Jeep. This is my other 98 Jeep, and I had problems with this one also. And this is the plug that we're talking about right here, if you can see it. And if this plug was replaced by the dealer, you can see that this is in a big harness right here. And I really can't, I'm not going to peel this back to show you the wires that are supposed to be twisted together, but this is pretty tight in here. And if you see if we can get back in here with the light, if you look back in here, there's not much to play with. So when the dealer replaced this, and they replaced this, if you have a Jeep that this hasn't been replaced and it's like this one, then the blowing of the horn and the smacking of the dash works. And fixes that they recommended that I saw on the internet was to twist these just a little bit. And of course that would work, just a slight twist into them, and then to clean them, and then you wouldn't have a dash problem. But there is two distinct problems. If you had a 98 that had this problem, some people never had this, again, had this plug replaced. They never had this plug replaced. That was a technical service bulletin that the Chrysler had out was for the fix of this, was to replace this plug, but then that caused this other problem, which I think is a continuity problem. I'm not quite sure. I'll find that in just a minute, but that's your two fixes. If you had this, you needed to smack the dash, and it worked. and it worked. And there's all kind of fixes on the internet for this, but there's only two reasons it doesn't work. Either this isn't quite making the connection that it should with these male plugs right here. And as I said, a twist, a cleaning, and a greasing usually worked for this pretty good. Twist, the cleaning, and the greasing worked. But the dealer replaced the plug, and when he did, he undid those two wires, and that caused another problem. So I had 298 Jeeps. They both had dash problems, and that's what they were. So there you go. It's this old guy in the garage with the pit, and that's my fix. And it took me a long time to find this.